God dang it, Ricky Bobby. I know I said I wouldn't keep doing political freaking videos, but guess what? I'm reacting to shit on the timeline, and this shit be popping up. JD Vance shut down New York Times reporter Lulu Garcia Navarro after she asked him if Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Brilliant. Garcia Navarro, Senator, yes or no? Did Donald Trump lose the election back in 2020? I mean, did he? Vance, let me ask you a question. Is it that big technology companies censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which independent analysts said it cost Donald Trump millions of votes? Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election? Did big tech companies censor a story that independent studies have suggested would have cost Trump millions of votes? Did Donald Trump lose? She just keeps going back and forth. Okay, hold on. We just got to see this.
That independent studies suggest.
Okay. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Let me ask you a question. Is it okay that big technology companies censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which independent analysis have said it cost Donald Trump millions of votes?
Senator Vance, I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Did big technology companies censor a story that independent studies have suggested would have cost Trump millions of votes?
Senator Vance, I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
And I've answered your question with another question. You answer my question and I'll answer yours.
I have asked this question repeatedly. It is something that is very important for the American people to know. There is no proof, legal or otherwise, that Donald Trump did not lose the 2020 election.
You're repeating a slogan rather than engaging with what I'm saying, which is that when our own technology firms engage in industrial scale censorship, by the way, backed up by the federal government, in a way that independent studies suggest affect the votes, I'm worried about Americans who feel like there were problems in 2020. I'm not worried about this slogan that people throw. Well, every court case went this way. I'm talking about something very discrete. A problem of censorship in this country that I do think affected things in 2020, and more importantly, that led to Kamala Harris's governance, which has screwed this country up in a big way.
Senator, would you have certified the election in 2020? Yes or no?
I've said that I would have voted against certification because of the concern that I just raised. I think that when you have technology companies...
The answer is no.
When you have technology companies censoring Americans at a mass scale in a way that, again, independent studies have suggested affect the vote, I think that it's right to protest against that, to criticize that, and that's a totally reasonable thing.
So the answer is no. And the last question, will you support the election results this time and commit to a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, first of all, of course we commit to a peaceful transfer of power. We are going to have a peaceful transfer of power. I, of course, believe that peaceful transfer of power is going to make Donald Trump the next president of the United States. But if there are problems, of course, in the same way that Democrats protested in 2004 and Donald Trump raised issues in 2020, we're going to make sure that this election counts, that every legal ballot is counted. We've filed almost 100 lawsuits at the RNC to try to ensure that every legal ballot is counted. I think you would maybe criticize that. We see that as an important effort to ensure election integrity. But certainly,
Yeah.
the results in 2020.
That's something I didn't even think about.
They're going to make Donald Trump the next president.
I say that I didn't think about it. It's just like, why does one side feel like, at least to me, it feels like one side is saying, hey, I want to make sure that everybody who votes, I want to make sure that their vote is verified and validated, right? And one side is saying, yo, that's racist and that's, you're being childish and insubordinate. And it does blow me away. It's frustrating. I can understand why she's frustrating because she's asking just a simple question of, did Donald Trump lose the election? Yes. That's fine. But this is why I think J.D. Vance, where he wins in a lot of these debates, where he just goes on with what he's trying to say. He does it very well, and there is an issue with censorship. And one side wants free speech, and the other side does not. And I feel like the people that are Americans, just like myself, who are in favor of the Democrats and in favor of this censored speech, is because they feel like that goalpost of where they deem is, reasonable and unreasonable. They're like, the unreasonable is over there. But what they don't realize is once that door gets open, it slowly creeps and creeps and creeps and gets closer and closer to you until you eventually get caught in that door. And it's such a shame that one side is also another where they're asking about, like, the Democrats, can you do the peaceful transfer of power? Yeah, we've proven it back. Joe Biden is in office right now with Harris. that there was no civil war. Yes, January 6th was a day in our history, but I think we could all go back and say that was a very messy day, and both sides of the aisle messed up. Right? It's not even we can't even say one side more than the other. Two wrongs don't make a right, even if one is more so than the other. Right? And I think that the left is a little bit more wrong on that, but that's just me. Let's see what some of these comments have to say. Why haven't you seen any stories from NPR about New York Post Hunter Biden story? Remember more in this week's newsletter. We don't want to waste our time on stories that aren't really stories. We don't want to waste our time with the listeners are just pure distractions. We don't want to waste our time on stories that really aren't stories. Damn. It was the biggest story of the year, and they buried it. Legitimately, though. That's their justification for that? That's insane. That's insane. But let me know what you guys think about all of this. If you guys like the way the words are flowing out my mouth. I find stuff on Twitter, and whether that be sports, anime, gaming, all of that fun jazz, I find it, I react to it. If there's something that you want me to react to, join my Discord, leave it in our public discourse, and that way the whole community can get involved in it. Is reacting with you guys, talking to you guys, and getting to know you guys has been so much fun. With that said, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.